Hey guys, Decimate here, and today I want to cover gear, what you should keep and what you should sell. Definitely a tough decision in this game, and space and silver are very limited, so it's also a very important decision. Hopefully I can go over some kind of general tips and tricks here today and make those decisions a little bit easier for you. And towards the end of the video, I'll also just kind of farm up some gear and sell things and kind of go over my thought process on why I'm selling things and why I'm keeping certain items. So let's jump in and take a look at this. So first and foremost, I would like to stress the importance of speed in this game. Speed is absolutely king in the arena, but in all other aspects of the game as well. So anytime you get a piece of gear with speed on it, you absolutely want to be given that a closer look. Even if it's, say, an epic piece of gear and it's got a flat stat on there, if you can roll a double or triple roll on that speed, that more than outweighs that flat stat. Having a character going fast and, say, taking 2 turns for the enemy's 1, if you can get them to, over 200 speed for level 20 dungeons, somewhere about there, that more than outweighs a little bit less damage, say, if you'd rolled, an extra attack roll on something, but the item doesn't have speed. So definitely be looking out for speed in every single item. That is not always possible, obviously, and 200 speed for all your characters in all dungeons is a tall order when you're starting off in the game. But just kind of treat that as an end game goal. I'm going to start off with kind of an overarching rule for gear, and that is going to be if the gear has good stats on it, it is good gear. It doesn't matter what set it's from. Offsets are not the end of the world. I use offsets all the time, and I'm very late game. I've got some offsets on Foley, I believe. Yeah, here we go. So he's got a set of Avenging Gloves, which I would probably not ever put on Foley, and a Frost Helm, also a set I would not put on Foley, but they have the stats I need, so they're great pieces. We've got these gloves here. They're crit damage gloves with a double roll of crit rate, exactly what I need. A fantastic piece for him. Be nice if there was some speed on there, but hey, can't be perfect every time. And then we've got this Frost Helm here with a quad roll crit rate. That's a great piece. Again, not a set you would put on Foley, but it doesn't matter. It's offset and it works great. This is my main arena nuker, and he does his job very well. So just to belabor that point a little bit more, I've opened up a couple of the sets here in the game that aren't used quite as much. We've got some Fury gloves here, crit damage with speed, crit rate, attack. These are perfect. These will absolutely find their way onto some arena nuker, somebody in Faction Wars maybe even, who knows. Great set of gloves there. We've got some cursed items. These are both 6-star legendary pieces, which are super rare to get out of the dungeons. You can farm for thousands of energy and not get 6-star legendaries in the exact set you want them to be in and the exact piece you need. So using offsets is going to be huge for you. It's just so much easier to find gear in offsets than it is to try to complete every single set out there. So we've got attack, crit damage, accuracy, crit rate on that. That's a great piece for a nuker. Here we've got a shield with double speed roll, crit damage, defense, and accuracy. This would be great on some defensive champion. So next, let's talk about what kind of gear you want to keep in sets that you do know that you want to use on people. For these first few, it's pretty obvious. Life set, stuff with HP on it is going to make a lot of sense. Offense set, obviously you're going to want attack, crit rate, that kind of thing. I wouldn't keep a ton of defense chests in the offense set, because likely if you want to use that set, you're going to be using it on an attack-based champion. Conversely, defense goes the other way. Speed, obviously if it's got speed on a piece of speed gear, even if it's 5-star rare, roll it. Even if it's a flat stat bottom piece down here, and say you get a triple roll on some flat stat HP gloves, that's great. You can use that on your speed lead for the arena. Other arena champions, it's not the end of the world. Generally, you don't want to roll flat stats in other sets, even if they've got speed on them, but that's kind of an exception for the speed set. What do you want to keep in crit rate? You want to keep stuff with crit rate on it. You want to keep critical damage, attack, defense. Just kind of go through your different sets here, and in your mind think, when would I use this on somebody? Days, any of the CC sets, you're probably going to use that on a tankier champion that you're maybe using for control. That's kind of a typical use case for some of the CC sets. Frost set, you're going to use that on somebody that's taking hits, because you need them to take hits for that frost to actually proc and freeze somebody. So you're going to be looking for more defensive stats on the frost set. For shield, the shield that the champion is putting out is based on their HP. So obviously HP on the pieces for the shield set is going to be something you're going to look for. And then, it's kind of go through the different sets, different usage scenarios in your mind, and that will help you decide, if you would ever use this on somebody if it's a questionable piece. Now let's talk a little bit about rarity and star level. So you're going to see a ton of content creators, myself included probably at some point, just kind of blindly selling all kinds of 5-star rare gear and not even really even looking at the stats. And they've got all kinds of crazy good gear and they just don't need that stuff at all. But that's not how they got to that point in the game. They were absolutely leveling up 5-star rare gear at lots of different points in the game and probably up to late game even. Super late game, sure, you can get away with doing that kind of thing, but it takes a long time to get enough good gear to equip a bunch of champions, and you just can't really afford to keep farming Dragon and Fire Knight infinitely because you only get so much energy a day. So don't just instantly sell your 5-star rare gear, especially if you're earlier in the game. You can see this Maneater. I use this Maneater in Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, and he's got pretty high speed and good crit rate, crit damage. Attack is pretty decent as well. And this is all 5-star rare gear here. That's 4 out of the 6 pieces are 5-star rare, and we're getting these crazy stats out of it. So don't just look at content creators videos and think that, oh my god, I need all 6-star legendary gear to be able to get those crazy stats. You don't. This Maneater is used in a Bat Eater setup, and I'm getting these stats with mostly 5-star gear. We do have one 6-star epic piece there, but these are good gear pieces. This one's got 1 speed roll. This one doesn't have any speed rolls. Got some speed boots here. Got a double speed roll on that. So this started off and it just looked like speed and accuracy, and we got lucky and got a double speed roll there. So a piece of rare gear is only going to show you 2 things, and that's a bad thing because you don't know what RNG is going to give you down here for this 12 and 16 roll. However, you've got a 50-50 shot of getting the stat that you actually want. So in a way, it's a little bit easier to kind of prioritize the stats you want in rare gear because it's going to go to one of the first 2 there. So don't just instantly sell all your 5-star rare gear. It's absolutely usable, and just make sure you're making a good decision on whether it's worth leveling up. You don't want to be wasting all your silver, but anything with speed on it, if it's got speed, crit rate on it, roll it. So just another couple examples here of champions that I used a lot coming up through the game that are in less than optimal gear. We've got a Bellower here, the classic Bellower in a stun set up here. He's reasonably tanky, going at a reasonable speed, not super crazy fast there. No crit rate, no crit damage, and high enough accuracy. And we're getting these stats, with 3 pieces of rare gear here and 3 pieces of epic. And these are not by any means crazy optimal pieces of gear. It's just the gear that we need. We've got some tankiness and some HP gloves there. No speed on those. No speed on this defense chest. Speed boots. Little bit of speed here in a speed set. And pretty horrible helm there. Getting a little bit of crit rate out of there, but I don't think that's doing us a lot of good. And then we've got a bunch of HP here to increase our tankiness and a little bit of speed. So you can see that these stats aren't crazy in-game level stats, but this guy got me through a lot of level 20 dungeons and took me all the way through 21 in Ogre and Tribes as well. So this is just another example of what you can do with non-insane gear. Another one let's look at is going to be Reliquary Tender. She is a hyper carry, great rare, and again, she is in almost all 5-star rare gear. We've got a couple epic pieces here in 6-star as well, looks like. She's going really fast, and she's tanky, and that's really all you need out of her. And you can get away with non-Murder Inc. level gear on a lot of champions and still clear all the content in this game. This Reliquary Tender has carried a bunch of uncommons and rares through many dungeons, level 20 content, and amazing champion in not so amazing gear, but it's the right gear for the job, and she does the job very well. Alright, so I've farmed Fire Knight some, and we have got some items here to go through, see what we're going to keep, what we're going to sell. So we've got the crit damage set here first. Obviously, this is something you're going to put on somebody you want dealing a lot of damage for you, so we're going to be looking for damage dealing stats. Speed, crit rate, crit damage, and then we can go with either attack, HP, or defense based on the champion type we want to put it on. So what do we have? We got crit damage, accuracy, HP, crit rate. That's a great piece. No speed, but I think that's definitely a keeper. As a legendary too, we might get a quad roll on one of those. That would be really nice. Next up, we're gonna have Fury. Again, not a set that I use a ton of, so I'd have to have some really good pieces here to keep these. So that's gonna be a sell. That is gonna be a sell, and that's gonna be a sell. Maybe if this one had speed on it with those other 2% stats, I would consider it if I was a little earlier game, but I'm not going to keep that. Next we've got Frenzy. Frenzy is a very niche set. Again, unless the pieces are really good, I'm probably not going to keep a lot of pieces out of Frenzy at least. Can come in handy occasionally. I did use it on Vrask to do Faction Wars so that he could cycle back to his healing by hitting the enemies even faster, so not a bad set, but not one I use a lot of. The flat defense there, that's gone. Speed boots, we're going to keep those. I don't know how many speed boots I have in Frenzy. These aren't a great pair of speed boots, to be honest, but especially for earlier game, definitely want to be holding on to any speed boots you get your hands on. They are super, super useful. Next we got Regeneration, Resistance, Crit Rate. This is probably not a keeper for me. Again, earlier game, you might roll that crit rate, hopefully get some speed on 12 or something like that. For me though, this is not going to be a keeper. Then we got immunity, we got attack, flat HP, and resistance. I don't see a whole lot of use for this item. I would like it to be maybe more defensive or more attack based. So if we had attack and crit rate there instead, or maybe HP and resistance and speed, that would be good on a defensive champion. But this is kind of just a mix of things, and I don't really think it's going to be that useful for me. That's going to be sold. Accuracy, crit damage, 5-star. I'm going to sell that as well. Attack boots with flat attack and HP, no thank you. The only time you want to keep percentage boots is if they've got crit rate and speed on them maybe. It's kind of tough to get away with a lot of the percentage boots if they don't at least have speed down here. So moving on to shield set. Again, for shield we're going to be looking for HP in the stats and speed probably. Resistance wouldn't be bad if that was flat defense. Maybe you could get away with this earlier game. We got a flat HP chest here, which is unfortunate. Otherwise this would be great. This would be perfect as a actual percentage chest there, but unfortunately we're not going to keep that. Another flat HP chest. All right, moving on, we have a defense chest plate here with crit rate on it. This one's kind of questionable. I think mid game you could definitely keep this, maybe roll that twice or once, see if you get crit rate twice, then it could be pretty useful. Maybe I'll just roll it and we'll see how it goes. Flat HP boots, those are going to be sold. Next we're going to do the stun set, crit rate and speed. Even though it's 5-star, this would be a keeper for mid game, even early late game. You definitely use this on a Faction War champion to help you out. That's not a bad item, so we'll go ahead and keep it for now. Defense shield with accuracy and speed. Again, early mid game, this is definitely a keeper. Keep it for now. Defense chest plate with crit damage, attack, and HP. This one, again, early mid game, keeper. Hopefully you roll in the crit damage and crit rate, but defense with attack, no speed or anything. This one would be questionable for me. We'll just pretend like we're going to keep it for now though. And then we got HP boots with defense and speed on them. These aren't awful. You could possibly use these, but typically I'm going to go with speed boots on someone with a stun set, just so they're going to be cycling through and getting more chances to throw that stun out there. So I'm going to go ahead and sell these. I don't have a particular use in mind for those, so those are getting sold. And curing, horrible set, and a horrible piece. So we're going to sell those. Alright, so I have farmed up about 500 or 600 energy worth of accessories here from the spider to take a look at my thought process behind what I keep and sell here. General rules of thumb are going to be for the rings, you want to match the main stat with a substat here. So for instance, I want a defense percentage down here. And then for amulets, you're going to want to mostly look for crit damage and defense amulets. HP and attack can be used, but the crit damage and defense are going to be the best ones. And then for substats, the ones I generally look for are going to be resistance and accuracy. It's a great place to pick up some extra accuracy for sure in an amulet. And then for banners, we're going to be looking mostly for speed, and again to match that main stat in a substat down below, or one that makes sense at least. But mostly speed on the banners is what we're going to look for. So let's start off here. We've got an accuracy banner. I'm going to kind of go through these and talk about what I would keep and sell, but also what you're going to look for earlier game, mid game, and early late game for sure as well. So this is an accuracy banner, which everybody wants a ton of these accuracy banners. Until you have kind of a stash of accuracy banners, even if it doesn't have speed on it, even if it doesn't have the greatest substats, you're going to want to keep those because they are super, super useful for bumping up your accuracy, one of the most important stats in the game. So for an early game player, I would absolutely keep this because you just need as many accuracy banners as you can get. Hopefully it would roll some double HP on there for you and maybe pick up some speed later on. But for me, I'm going to sell this. I do have plenty of accuracy banners now, but early I would have kept that in a heartbeat. So here we've got a defense ring with HP and attack on it. I'd like to see defense down here, but again, earlier game you might keep that. Attack with attack. This one, again, early game, keep it. For me, I'd like to see this HP as a percent before I would keep it. So I'm going to go ahead and sell this for some silver. Attack with defense, not great. That's going to be sold. Attack with HP and a flat stat. We're going to sell that. 2 flat stats, sell that. Attack, again, like I said, this isn't as useful as crit damage or just bumping up the raw damage of an attack-based champion. The main usage of an attack-based amulet is going to be on a bomb champion. You can get away with them on some other champions for sure, but a general rule of thumb is sell most attack amulets. So we're going to sell that for sure. This defense banner here with some speed and HP on it is definitely worth keeping, even though we don't have a defense percentage here yet. The fact that it's got speed and it's epic 6-star, that's going to be a keeper for me. Attack with defense and flat stat defense, that's a sell. Defense with resistance and crit damage, this one could definitely be a keeper for a lot of people. It's going to be a sell for me at my point in the game though. Attack with 3 percentage stats on it, even though it's 5-star, I will still keep a legendary 5-star ring in a heartbeat, so we're going to keep that one. Attack with attack and HP with attack and HP. This one is keepable, but for me it's going to be a sell. HP, no HP here, 2 flat stats, that's a sell. Attack, no attack down here, that's a sell. Defense with defense and attack, we'd like to have this as HP probably for this. So for me, again, this is going to be a sell, but this one is kind of borderline on whether I'd keep it earlier in the game. Attack with no attack here, 5-star, that's going to be a sell. Resistance with defense, no speed. Anytime you're going to use a resistance banner, it's probably going to be in the arena for 90% of the cases. So you're also going to want speed on a resistance. So I wouldn't keep any resistance banners if they don't have speed on them for sure. Defense with defense and HP. This is a pretty good one. I'd probably keep this. Attack, no attack in the bottom. That's a sell. HP with resistance and accuracy. Again, if I was going to keep an HP based amulet here, this would probably be 1. Crit damage is also a good place for a roll to go for that, but for me, I'm going to sell that. I've already got some HPs that are 6 stars. Attack, nothing there that we want. Accuracy, no speed, but it does have defense. Again, you don't have a bunch of accuracy banners, keep that. Alright, just a quick recap here before we wrap things up. Always be on the lookout for speed on any item that can have it. The only thing that can't are going to be speed boots and rings and amulets. So any item that has speed on it is worth a closer look, even if it doesn't have perfect stats. Also, keep items that have good stats no matter what set they're in. Offsets are not the end of the world. The only time you need to really focus on completing a set is if it's a 4-piece set like Lifesteal and you need that for Clan Boss, something like that. Maybe you got to complete a Savage set. So definitely keep an eye out for good items no matter what set they come from. When you are looking at set items, you want to match the substats of the items with the set that they're coming from. So, you don't want to keep a lot of accuracy chests in Savage, for instance. You're not going to be putting a Savage character that's supposed to be doing a lot of damage in an accuracy chest. That's just not going to happen. So, just look at the theme of the set that you're in, and that'll help you decide whether you should keep that item or not, if it's not a spectacular piece you could use as an item. And also, 5-star rare gear until you're super in-game is not trash. Even though you see all us content creators just deleting it without looking at it, it's absolutely usable, and it's how we got to where we are now. So, if this video was at all helpful for you, I hope you will like and subscribe. I'm still trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so that I can get those chickens, make more death hounds, that kind of thing. So, I hope you have a good one, and I'll catch you in the next one.